Okay, from the Front Porch of Job, talking about great suffering. You know, we all suffer in this life. And broke my camera today. That's a little bit of suffering. Probably going to cost me, I don't know, $400 camera. Probably costs $200 to get it fixed. my honey's saying $500.
It's over $500.
But Job was a man of suffering, and we identify ourselves a lot with Job in suffering. God allowed him to be the one that we use an example for suffering. And the book of Job is 42 chapters long. I don't know how many verses that is, but that's a lot of suffering. If you only had one verse in each chapter, that's a lot of suffering, you know. And sometimes it just seems like God is never going to answer. He's never going to answer. It's like a summer that's way too long and way too hot and way too muggy and way too intimidating. I mean, everything about it is just goes on and on and on. It seems it's like the life of a person who is sick that just never seems to get any better. And you know, we all have moments like that in our lives. And Job, I was reading here in chapter 23, verse 1, it says, "Then Job answered and said, Even today is my complaint bitter." My complaint bitter. "My stroke is heavier than my groaning." I don't know what stroke he was talking. I don't think he literally had a stroke, but I think he was talking about a spiritual kind of stroke. I mean, his stroke that he takes to move, you know, my effort to move, my stroke is heavier than my groaning. He says, "Oh, that I knew where I might find him," that, talking about God, of course. Doesn't it seem like it is when you're in your suffering, it seems like God is just nowhere around? You know? You pray and you pray and you pray and you pray and you pray, man, and just your prayers doesn't seem to go much higher than the ceiling. And of course you're in a soundproof room as far as God is concerned, and that kind of suffering, you know. In verse 3 it says, "Oh, that I knew where I might find him, that I might come even to his seat. I would order my cause before him and fill my mouth with arguments." I would, you know, the thing I thought about when I get before God, I got all this stuff I want to say. And I don't care how much suffering, man. You know, you get before God, you're not even going to know what to talk about. Your train of thought is going to be wrecked, you know. And then you'll walk away and you'll be thinking, man, was I stupid, you know. Jesse Duplantis, he was talking about that on one of his shows. He said the Lord visited his room and he was trying to wake his wife up. She wouldn't wake up. And he said that he couldn't even turn around and look. His wife wouldn't wake up. He couldn't turn around and look. He was too scared, I guess. And his wife, he couldn't get her awake. And then the Lord left his room and he's thinking, stupid, 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 stupid. And how he just, you know, just couldn't. And that's the way it is. You know, and in his suffering, that's what Jesse was saying, in his suffering, man, he made an accusation that he couldn't hold up to. And we all do that, man. You know, it worked till the day I was hot and I was tired, man, and he took my knife and I threw it across. It's a good thing nobody was around, you know, to see me acting like this. And upset, saying, "Daggone it," you know, and dropping stuff, and oh man, you just get so aggravated. And you know, I think a lot of people's having that kind of trouble is just kind of weather. hot weather, you know, aggravating weather. But, you know, that's the way things look from the front porch of Job. If you think that looks bad, go into his kitchen. You know, serve up a nice hot plate of crow, nice hot plate of agony, misery, deceit, malice. Nice hot plate of, got all kind of stuff going in Job's kitchen. You know, you just got to trust in the Lord. You know, the Bible says, trust in Him with all of your heart. Lean not to our own understanding, but trust in Him. And the Bible says He will give you the desires of your heart. Sometimes our desires only want to be out of misery. That's all that it is. You know. Alrighty. I think I've spent about my 5 minutes here. This camera, I'm not sure if it's even going to download. God bless you. Thank you for joining. We'll see you again next time. Another great message, Crossing the Middle Ministry.